Baltimore Metropolitan School students got an unexpected break from their routine when all school districts in the area closed for at least a portion of the day. National Weather Service light snow blew into the Baltimore area, making travel extremely hazardous. Kids love getting out of school, regardless of the reason. But for those of us who have to work out on the street, the combination of blowing snow, high winds, and plummeting temperatures caused quite a few problems today. Most of the accidents reported on police scanners were minor, but in areas where salt trucks hadn't broken up the snow or ice, traffic was reduced to a crawl. 1,300 gallons of heating oil bound for Baltimore homes wound up coating Gwynns Falls Parkway around 11 this morning, with this G&M oil truck flipped over in front of Douglas High School. The trouble started when truck driver Kenneth Wilson approached cars that had stopped on the parkway because of another accident.
The other car in front of me started sliding, and I tried to avoid hitting him, and I started sliding and hit a dry spot and flipped over.
Flipped over. Are you okay?
Fine, as far as I know.
How much oil did you have in there this morning?
About 1,300, 1,350.
How much you think you've lost?
About half, not quite half, I don't think. Maybe about 300 gallons.
Gwynns Falls Parkway was closed for several hours because of the spill, and when workers tried to right the overturned truck, most of the remaining oil flowed out. Despite chemicals to soak up the oil, the street was coated with goo by the time wreckers cleared the area. Most major roads were cleared of snow, but on some small streets, like the 600 block of Biddle, the going was slow and dangerous till the salt trucks arrived.
Their health, or what's in the air we breathe and the water we drink. So tonight, Marty Bass begins the first part of a series on Baltimore's drinking water. And you might be surprised by his findings and what's in it for you.
It flows as freely as the air we breathe. It's odorless, tasteless, and generally accepted to be one of the building blocks of life. It's water. Pure and simple water. Good old water, the substance of life, H2O. Right here at the outset, let me tell you that many people we're going to talk to think our water is really good compared to many other American cities. H2O plus a whole bunch of other substances. But before we get to that, it's important to find out where our water comes from, where it originates and goes to before it comes out of your faucet and into your glass. We truly are a fortunate lot. Our water comes from 3 relatively clean sources, unlike Washington, whose water comes from the Potomac, which fish don't even like. Our water comes to us from those 3 sources, like we said. To the west, the Liberty Reservoir. To the north, the Loch Raven Reservoir. And to the east, the Susquehanna River. Pipelines bring the raw water to either the Montebello facility or to here, the Ashburton Water Facility. Now, it's no secret that chemicals, yes, chemicals, are used to clean the water. But it's the natural reactions of the chemicals and the junk in the water that actually do the cleaning. Yes, Mother Nature can and does work with man. Because chemicals are used, quality controls must be maintained. And believe me, they are. So much so that NASA would even be jealous. There are 4 chemicals used in the treatment of our water. They are chlorine, to kill bacteria, aluminum sulfate, an agent to collect mud and other suspended materials, lime for chemical stability, and fluoride. It prevents tooth decay. At one time or another, all of the chemicals used have been criticized for one thing or another. But every good water system uses these agents, and Water Quality Control Chief Jerry Valsic didn't stammer, stutter, go or duh when I bluntly asked him if our water met federal standards.
They apply to the finished water, and in all respects, the character of our finished water is more than adequately meets standards that are set by the state and by the Environmental Protection Agency.
If you had to rate our water system, either bad, fair, or good, how would you rate it?
There's no question in my mind that I would go beyond the best rating that you've mentioned. In our opinion, we have an excellent quality of water that's supplied to the consumers in the Baltimore area.
And Jerry Valsic was almost being modest according to the figures supplied me. Our water is so far below the minimum standards set by the EPA, it's almost amazing. And there it is, water, H2O. Just like we told you at the beginning of this little show, it's good. Many people say it's good. It is. But more goes into this beaker of water than just the expertise and technology here at Ashburton. And tomorrow we'll give you some more insight into your water when we continue with What's in It for You. Marty Bass, Channel 13 Eyewitness News.
2 mysterious deaths on the Eastern Shore top tonight's Eyewitness News crime beat. State police are investigating the death of 14-year-old Tony Evans of Smith Island. He was taken to an island hospital late last night. The cause of death is still not known. And authorities in Pocomoke City are investigating the death of 54-year-old Thelma Johnson, whose body was found in a drainage ditch earlier today. Well, it's a different kind of crime that police in Anne Arundel County are investigating tonight. Prostitutes working at highway truck stops, that's the problem. And as Gene Downey and Instant Eye report, the county wants to put a stop to it.
The transit truck stop is one of a number of places police monitor organized prostitution. There was a significant bust this fall that put a sizable operation out of business.
To the best of my knowledge, it was approximately four pimps, some 18 to 20 girls, and they would bring them in and primarily to service transit truckers that would travel the north-south route out here.
And did the girls then take the truckers to a hotel, or what was their
Well,
procedure?
In this situation here, most of the trucks have the sleepers, and that's usually where it was consummated.
This operation was broken up largely with the cooperation of the management of the transit truck stop. They could actually see how it worked.
Normally they door through CB, and they're out on the highways within the local area, and they contact the drivers through CB and then set it up for when they pour into the parking lot here.
And then what do they do in the parking lot?
Well, they have different type of signals that they can identify with, flashing the lights from the trucker to the car, or they give their truck number out to the girl through the CB.
The recent bust here, do you think that cleaned it up pretty much, or is that just the tip of the iceberg?
I think that's just the beginning, because you seem to get rid of one group and then another group will move in.
Hutchison says it's devastating to his business. He says community groups, which they are trying to attract, are discouraged by the movement of prostitutes. Gene Downey, Channel 13 Eyewitness News, Anne Arundel County.
For a lot of people, it's a holiday. It only comes once a year and is bound to bring plenty of excitement. It's the Super Bowl. And like any other holiday, it's a lot better if you share it. That's why you don't find too many people watching alone. Here at the Robinsons household on Dinland Road, Super Bowl has become a family tradition.
We've been doing this around 10 to 12 years on the Super Bowl Sunday. We've invited friends and relatives in just to have a festivity occasion.
Every year we look forward to the Super Bowl, and we really look forward to coming over here to Mr. Robinson's house. It's really a ball. I mean, it is.
It's a grand occasion, and every year we're looking for the best team in the country.
Who are you rooting for today?
Well, I was hoping the Broncos would win, but I have to go with Dallas so far.
Even those who don't watch all year find themselves getting almost excited about the biggest game of the year.
I'm enjoying the people. Yeah.
Not the game so much.
And I've gotten caught up a couple of times with what's going on, but I didn't know who was doing what.
To be quite honest with you, halftime has always been my favorite part of the game. And I particularly like Super Bowl halftime because it's a soulful feast.
These are delicacies that tend to the soul food. These are collard greens. We love them. All of my friends love them.
And what else have you preferred? I love them. What else have you made?
We have black-eyed peas. We have chicken. We have pig's feet, chitterlings.
We are really going home here for this.
Yes, we love these things. Not that it's always our daily diet, but we like these on Super Bowl day because they give us a lot of pride and a lot of fun. We believe in having fun on Super Bowl day.
Or to put it another way, in the final analysis, it matters not who wins or loses or even how they play the game, just that the turnip greens are seasoned. Just right. This is Oprah Winfrey with Instant Eye, Channel 13 Eyewitness News. Good, good.
Here in the city, police are also looking for the killer of Ricardo R. Carter. And on tonight's Crime Line report, we're again asking your help in solving this crime. I'll tell you what happened and then give you our special telephone number. Call it if you have any information. The murder took place on the 6th of January at 10:25 p.m. at the B Bar, 2016 Harford Road. 29-year-old Ricardo Carter of 1215 North Eden became involved in an argument with a woman who drew a knife and stabbed Carter in the neck. He was pronounced dead at the scene. About 60 people witnessed the incident, and as a result, police have a warrant for a suspect. She is identified as Ella Pearl Wright, a black female, 22 years old, 5 feet 3 inches, about 100 pounds. She is also known as Peaches, and her last known address was 1608 Asquith Street. She is known to frequent the area of North and Harford Roads and may be in the company of a friend known as Vanessa. If you have any information on the whereabouts of Ella Pearl Wright, call our crime line number now. It's 685-2878. That's 685-2878. Operators are standing by to take your call right now. And as always, any lead will be investigated. And if you call this number with information, your call will be absolutely confidential.
Well, there's also another investigation going on tonight, Jerry, and it could involve law enforcement officers themselves. Reports say the Baltimore State's Attorney's Office is looking into charges that city and federal investigators stole drugs and planted evidence on known drug dealers. There are also charges that some of the drugs taken during drug raids were resold on the street by law enforcement agents. And the Baltimore Sun quotes sources as saying a former Baltimore narcotics detective has already been secretly indicted by a grand jury. Meanwhile, Anne Arundel County officials are looking over some drug use statistics, which they consider alarming. A recent study shows that juvenile crime in the county increased 50%, and much of that is being attributed to the growing use of drugs. School officials say half of the Anne Arundel County junior and senior high school age young people not only use but abuse drugs. Police officers say drug use is now beginning to show up in about the 7th grade. And another area of law enforcement has become suspect. The Governor's Commission on Law Enforcement sent a letter to President Carter this weekend expressing concern about the leadership of the Law Enforcement Assistance Administration. That's a federal agency which provides support for local law enforcement programs. Don Scott is with Richard Wirtz, head of the Governor's Commission, and has this live Instant Eye report. Don?
And at this instant we are in Mr. Wirtz's office, and we'll get to him in just a second. We'll first tell you that 28 people came to Columbia a month ago to talk about the possible abolition of the Law Enforcement Assistance Administration or the reorganizing of it. And they came up with 7 ideas to send on to President Carter how that should be done if it's going to be done. And we'll take a look at those recommendations now. The first one, they need money for planning. They want to continue grants and add money for planning. The second one, they want more block grants, or at least they think that block grants is the best system for giving the states money because the states have authority. The third one, more crime control projects. That's instead of civil justice projects, which LEAA seems to be getting into now. The fourth one is watch federally based projects, that is at the expense of state-based projects. And in some informal suggestions, they want more state planning involvement, especially in any reorganization of LEAA. They want more money and at least no more cuts in their funding. And they also say it's time for a new administrator because LEAA, or whatever it's going to be named, hasn't had one for 10 months. And now we are with Richard Wirtz. You see him on the screen. All these suggestions were done in Maryland by Marylanders and also by people from all over the country. Of what importance is it to the state of Maryland if it is reorganized, LEAA, or abolished?
Well, Don, I think the significance of these various reorganization proposals to the state of Maryland would simply be that we very quickly could be receiving a significantly amount less of federal action funds to implement different criminal justice improvement programs around the state. And very quickly we could have to cut back on our statewide comprehensive criminal justice planning activity. And those things concern us most.
How dependent are we on LEAA funds, federal funds, for law enforcement in the state?
The total amount of federal funds coming into the state amounts probably only to about 5% of all money spent in the state for criminal justice. However, it's the 5% that's used for seed money, for new projects, for planning new and implementing new ideas. And for that reason, I think it's an extremely important 5%.
All right. Thank you.